Welcome to the 208 Fantasy Football Show. July 14th, we have NFC East breakdown. Dallas, Giants, Commanders, and Eagles. We're gonna let you guys know which players you need to get. File on in, smash the like button. 208 starts right now. Gentlemen, how are we doing this fine Sunday halfway through July? Chance?
Oh, man. It's hot. Life's good. It's been busy. Water's on crops. Crops are growing. Life's good.
I was going to say life on the tractor. Yeah.
Yep.
Life on the tractor's good.
We just started bottle feeding a couple calves, so that's a chore.
Nice. Justin, how about you? Staying out of the hot weather?
Yeah, I just stay inside and watch movies and play on my PC. So that's all I've been doing. Just wait for this baby to come out.
Must be nice.
Yes. Nice. Well, gentlemen, let's kick it off. Let's get right into a little bit of news.
What's going on?
Chance, what do you got for us on the news side?
Yeah, a couple things. Just real quick, since it's training. So we've officially started. Baltimore Ravens did start their training camp for rookies the other day. So we are officially into training camp season. I think half the league starts this week, so that's exciting. T. Higgins, he is going to play on the franchise tag. We talked off air. Probably going to trade him. After the season, but that'll be interesting. Dak Prescott is out of his walking boot. And the most infuriating news of the week is that Cordero Patterson is likely to have more touches than expected with the
Arthur Smith! Let's go!
Arthur Smith is the worst.
Not on my team anymore, baby.
Yeah. Oh boy. Definitely impact for Najee and Warren for sure. Yikes.
So that's really all I got.
I do want to throw a little bit out there about Zach Robinson, the OC for Atlanta. Talked about moving Pitts all over, tight end, wide receiver. So we're looking, boy, oh boy, he might be a top 3 tight end. Keep a close eye on that one.
Chance is just internally hating right now.
Yes.
I mean, I get it. As Lineberry and I have always been able, since we've known each other, we've been able to connect on the basic level that we both love bad teams. We both like bad football.
Except for the wrestling team, correct?
Yeah, except for the wrestling team. But we both like bad NFL teams. And so
Yeah.
I understand it's just tough because you've got all this optimism about your team and the Falcons, and you can be all excited. And I've been there. I've been there enough that I just have become a hater because of my fandom. And it makes me want to hate your team, which is also my girlfriend's favorite team. So
Heck yeah.
surrounded by Falcons fans.
Well, then I'm in good company as a Bears fan. So we'll just leave it at that and get right into our next segment. And the meat and potatoes of this show, we're going to get into our division breakdown. Hey, so today we're talking about the NFC East. Again, here we go. Washington, Cowboys, Eagles, Giants. Players that you need to have on your team, players you need to avoid at current ADP. And let's just jump right into the NFC East and see what we got. Washington Commanders. Justin, tell us a little bit what you know about the Washington Commanders.
All right. They were 24th in total offense, 18th in passing offense, 27th in rushing, and then 24th in scoring. They're about 55 to 44 passing and running, so pretty even. With Cliff Kingsbury coming over, Matt alluded to this a little bit last week, how much he loves Cliff and his offensive system. I think when Cliff came into the NFL, everybody thought he was just throw the ball 70, 80% of the time, but Cliff does pretty well running the ball as well with his gap scheme, and they signed some older O-linemen that I think will help with that. They will live in shotgun, just like Andy Reid does, and their pace of play will be pretty high. It'll be interesting to kind of see how Dan Quinn and Cliff Kingsbury kind of merge, because Dan Quinn's kind of that old Seattle mode or old Pete Carroll mode where hey, let's run the ball, play good defense, where Cliff is more of a, hey, let's score a bunch of points, let's have a shootout. Commanders O-line doesn't have a huge, like, high expectations. They were bottom 10 last year, and PFF has that graded as that. But they did add 3 new starters. We'll talk a little bit about running backs, but Brian Robinson seems like a good fit for this offense. And then I can really see, like, when we get to Jay Daniels, I'm pretty excited about his outlook.
Yeah, that's a great segue, Justin. Thanks. Let's get right into JD5. He's 14th position ranked or 14th in the position ranked, 97 ADP. You can get him in the 9th round. I think we're going to see him climb a little bit, but Chance, give us your thoughts on JD5.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of Jaden Daniels. I wasn't a big fan of his in college, but he balled out. And I really think he's the kind of quarterback for me that I would love to draft him as a dart throw as my second second quarterback, right? And I'm a late quarterback guy anyways. Like I'll take a later guy like a Matt Stafford or a Goff or somebody that I know has a high floor. And then I'll pick up Jaden Daniels in the 9th just to say I've got a floor guy, and I love Jaden Daniels' upside with his rushing. I'm here for that experience. I don't always trust him, but I'll take that shot on my fantasy team all day.
Justin, agree, disagree?
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like the 9th round is climbing a little bit too much. Like Chance said, like I'm a bottom, like I am a quarterback less guy. But Jaden Daniels has such a high floor with his running, and he got dropped into a pretty good situation. So I agree with Chance on that.
Yeah, in college, remember he did throw it all over the place last year, and he does have a running upside. It'll be fun to watch him go, or just really play this year. Potential to win some leagues, but we will see how it goes. Let's move it along into the running back. Eckler Robinson. Justin, you talked about Robinson Jr. here. Who do you like better? This seems like it might be a split committee, but I don't know. Thoughts?
I like Brian Robinson a lot here. He is a gap guy where you just run him in between the tackles. And I know Matt's going to say Eckler because that's his guy, but I just think Brian Robinson is going to own this backfield. Probably a 60-40, maybe a 65-35 split, I hope. They are going super close together with Brian Robinson, looking like he's getting a little bit of a bump ADP-wise. I don't think any of them finish as a RB2 or by any means. I think it's going to be pretty hard with that committee pretty split. But I like Brian Robinson a lot more than Austin Eckler.
Chance, agree, disagree?
Well, listen, I know that you're an Eckler guy, and so to break there is a Robinson guy, I'm a Brian Robinson guy. I agree with Lineberry. I really want Eckler good. But I think that Brian Robinson, I loved watching him at Alabama, that his senior season when he just balled out for them. And then coming back last year after the incident, getting shot before the season, I've been trying to get him in a bunch of my dynasty leagues that I'm in. I think he's going to be a really good ground and pound guy. And I don't know that the Commanders are going to be in a lot of positions on the goal line. I really think that their offense, they might struggle to be in the red zone more often than not. But I think when they are, it's going to be the Brian Robinson show.
Yeah, that's fair. Just a quick, I didn't bring this up, but Eckler is 40 position ranked, going at 128, and you can get him in the 11th round. Brian Robinson Jr., 30th ranked, 105 ADP, and you can get him in the 9th round. So, definitely running backs you can get later. I do like Eckler a little bit better than Robinson. I know he's older. My take on that is I think Eckler is just first part of the season is where I want him, and then maybe try to trade him later. I'm gambling that he's going to do well in this offense. So
that's a good idea. I like that. I haven't really thought about how they'll split the season though.
Yep. Moving on to wide receiver, you got Scary Terry going in at position rank 31. ADP is 46th. He's going in the 4th round. Dotson, 63, 132 ADP, and get him in the 11th round. And the newly added Luke McCaffrey, the rookie, 81th position, 182 in the 16th round. Do either one of you want this guy's chance? Let's start with any of these guys. Chance, let's start with you.
I think, for my draft strategy, we talked about this off air also. I think Terry McLaurin is a great example of why I'm going to be going running back in rounds 1 and 2. Because if you're telling me I can get Terry McLaurin in round 4 as maybe my wide receiver 2, I'll take that all day. I think Terry McLaurin is a great wide receiver. I think that he is in a position with Jaden Daniels to really thrive. And so in round 4, if my wide receiver 2 is Scary Terry, oh my gosh, I'm doing backflips if that's the case. I think that's awesome. And I mean, he's just looking at his stats, right? He's been a monster. The only time he hasn't had 1,000 yards was his rookie season. So he's going to have a decent floor. He's had 1,000 yards from 2020 until 2023, and no less than 4 touchdowns. It's a good floor for Scary Terry.
Justin?
So with this wide receiver group, I just can't believe there's 31 wide receivers in the first 46 picks. That's such a wild number to me. Matt, can you tell us who's going around Terry, just so I can have a good picture of what's going on?
Yeah, I sure can. He is... Just a second here. So T. Higgins, Amari Cooper are the top 2 above. Hollywood Brown, Keenan Allen, Jaden Reed. Right, just all around that area. So deep at wide receiver, in my opinion.
Yeah. I when you gave me that list, I don't think Terry's name jumps out to me that much. And I traded away Dotson in my Dynasty League this year. I just feel like once those first round receivers, if you don't see a lot of pop those first 2 years, I just don't know if anything's going to happen. Jaden does make me happy because none of them have played with a good quarterback, but it is the unknown. I probably wouldn't draft Terry in the 4th. I would probably take my shot on Chance's guy and Reed or Marquise Brown, who could be the number 1 in a very good offense. So I'd probably stay up at Terry at the ADP right now, and same with John Dotson.
Yeah, that's fair. I tend to like Dotson. I am very intrigued with McCaffrey. McLaurin's McLaurin. I think he's me 1,000-yard guy myself.
Yep.
But this offense is very, very intriguing to me with Cliff Kingsbury and JD5 back there. I think they're going to throw the ball quite a bit, and you might see 2,000 yards, 2,000-yard receivers in this offense. So we'll see what's going to happen. But I do like them. The ADPs are reasonable to me. I'm probably not going to get McLaurin that high, but at the right price and whatnot, if Dotson's there and someone I like, I'll certainly pick him up. And maybe McCaffrey in a certain type of draft, probably not in redraft, but maybe a best ball or something like that, I'd probably would pick him up.
I do think Luke McCaffrey is one of those guys that I'm probably going to have a lot of shares of him as a late round pick, just because I believe in his pedigree, right? He's a guy that I believe in the pedigree of that family. I think his dad taught his boys how to work hard, how to perform in an NFL system. And I just think that, it's hard for me to look at that and say, I'm sure the Commanders look at it. They ran him at running back in minicamp a little bit. So I don't know, as a weapon that late, I'll do that.
Yeah, no, he's going super late. He's right. I mean, he's 6'2", almost 200 pounds. So it's not unheard of. So we'll see. Tight end, old man Hurts and Ben Sinnott is the rookie. Hurts is position rank 36 going to 38, which is the 20th round, and Sinnott is 22, position ranked 185. You get him in the 16th round. I did find it kind of interesting, with these tight ends. Cliff didn't really use his tight ends a lot. Ertz is older, Sinnott's the up and coming. I don't know what to do with either one of these guys, but Chance, your thoughts on either one of these two?
My best friend in high school is actually the athletic trainer for K-State, and so I reached out to him about Ben Sinnott, and I was like, "Hey, tell me about this dude." And man, he only had great things to say about him as the athletic trainer there, who spent the last 3 years around Ben. He's like, he's a dude, and I could see Ben Sinnott. I mean, as much as they want to do Luke McCaffrey in the backfield, Ben Sinnott took snaps at K-State as a running back, right? He could play that fullback position. I think he has a lot of upside, but then I'm stuck remembering that Zach Ertz was the man for a while, and I know he's older. How old is Zach Ertz?
He's 33 years old.
He's 33, and we all know as a 34-year-old, man, past
old.
He's past his prime, man. I am out of my prime. But no, I think if you are looking for a late round shot on a tight end, I don't hate either of these guys.
Justin?
Man, I'm out on Zach Ertz. The last time he played a full season was 2018, man. Like, I was 6 years out of high school by then.
Oof.
I mean, me and Chance didn't even know each other then. Like, that's been a long time. Been a long time. Like, he's just not relevant. He's not the player he was. Now, Ben Sinnott, like, I watch, like, all the stuff, like, all the YouTube stuff that all the teams do. And they're going through the draft process with the Cardinals, man. And like, Cliff Kingsbury was all about this kid. He's like, we can literally put him all over the field. Like, we can put him at the end. Like, he's going to play fullback. Like, he's going to be – I think he's a little bit bigger than Delaney Walker. But, like, the way Delaney was used, like, in his early days was, like, San Fran. And then when he got picked up with Tennessee, like, he played a ton of fullback. Like, I think he's going to be better than Kyle Juszczyk. But, like, he could be that guy. The kid is an athletic freak. Like to go off a chance, like, his RAS score is crazy high.
Yeah, we'll see. I'm off on Ertz for sure. Sinnott, definitely I want in Dynasty. I'm probably not drafting either one of these guys in redraft this year. So, moving on to the Philadelphia Eagles. This team, a Kellen Moore offensive-led team. I think we're all excited about this. Justin, tell us what you know.
All right, so like, being biased with Kellen Moore because like that's my guy, but like he obviously did lose his job with the Chargers. So with the Eagles, their season's kind of hard to judge because it felt like they were like so good the first like 8 weeks, and then they just took a big downhill, like boom, like all the way down. They played the Bucs and just got hammered in the playoffs. But they're 8th in total offense, 16th in passing, 8th in rushing, 7th in scoring. Kellen Moore gets put in this offense. His pace of play is always the top 5 in the league. Motions, lots of 3 wide receiver sets, very diverse playbook. Like, when you look at his rankings, like offense and rushing and passing offense, like he's always been like a top 10 guy in both categories, rushing and passing offense. The only years that he wasn't was with the Chargers this last year, and it was rough. Like, it was just a rough year by them. I don't know if it was because of Staley. I don't know if it was because of the personnel. You have Justin Herbert, who I think is one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but that was tough to watch. It'll be interesting to see them replace Jason Kelce. They have Jurgens, who has played a ton of snaps at right guard, so they're just going to slide him over to center and then move Steen over to right guard. I still think they have a top 5 O-line. They did have a pretty high passing percentage at 61%. And 39% run. I think the passing percentage will go up, actually, just because Kellen likes to throw the ball around.
Yeah, this offense should be very intrigued. I'm high on nearly all the Eagles, just because of Kellen Moore, obviously. Just kind of bouncing into Hurts here. He's only position ranked is only behind. Wow, I just lost it. Anyway, he's number 2 in position ranked, ADP 16, second round. You can get him in the second round. Chance, do you like Hurts? You want to take him in the second round? I think you said earlier you'd prefer to wait on a quarterback.
Yeah, I think Jalen Hurts is awesome. I will probably have 0 shares of him in fantasy just because I understand the value of a one position and a player like Jalen Hurts, who is, only Josh Allen is going above him. So
thank you,
Matt.
Thank you.
But
Hot
for
days.
me, it's just. I know. For me, it's just too high. Like, I would rather have a running back, like a top 10 running back in that place, a wide receiver 1 where I would draft him. So I love him, but I probably won't have any shares of him just because he's too high for me. I'm a draft quarterback slate guy.
Justin, your thoughts?
So just 2 quick questions. Over under 1 season of Jalen Hurts having over 4,000 yards passing. You think he's had more than 1 or less than 1?
I say he's had less than 1.
I'm gonna say less than 1 is 2.
Never had 1.
Yeah.
Okay, over under 25 passing touchdowns in 1 season.
He's rushed too many. Under. He's a rushing quarterback. He's all just rushing touchdowns.
I wanted to say over. Because I feel like
23 is the most he's ever had.
That sounds about right.
So keep in mind with Jalen Hurts, like he threw 15 interceptions last year, but he ran for 15 touchdowns. Like the 15 touchdowns isn't such an anomaly because he's had 10, 13, 15. But man, does Kellen run that much with the quarterback? Like he relied really heavy on Zeke in Zeke's very early years, and like Kellen can scheme up a run game. I think people are undervaluing Jason Kelsey's role, and they're undervaluing Saquon's role. Like Chance has been a big Saquon and Jonathan Taylor guy, and I think Saquon's gonna get a lot more goal line work than people think he will. So I've been out on Jalen Hurts since the beginning, and I've gotten a lot of flack for it. Like I don't know if he can keep doing this. Like he is a really good fantasy quarterback, but at the end of the day, like you got to be a good NFL quarterback to like keep going. Like I know he got his contract and everything, but I think Kellen Moore's really gonna test his passing prowess, and like I don't know if he'll be up to stick, but we'll see. I'm pretty out on it.
So I'll split the difference here a little bit. So I like Hurts. I like Hurts a lot. However, they paid Barkley to run the ball, and Hurts. It's going to limit Hurts's running upside, and we know that's the cheat code in fantasy football: running quarterbacks, right? So second round capital, no. Third, fourth, I'm okay with that. However, I do think his volume of attempts will go up. I'm super big on AJ Brown, even higher on Devontae Smith, and I'm probably more big on Goddard than others, just because of the Kellen Moore effect. We'll talk more about that as we go, but long story short, not at 2, but 3. I'm okay 3-4.
Okay, so I just have a question for you guys because I was thinking about Barkley, and as Lineberry is talking about, I'm a big JT fan. If you're drafting late in your draft, maybe 10, 11, 12, and you're able to get Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley as your RB1, RB2, are you happy about that, or are you nervous because they're both behind running quarterbacks?
Oh man, I freaking love it. I'm all about it.
Yeah,
all about it.
Yeah, me too. Speaking of Barkley, let's jump to him. Barkley, sixth ranked over in his position, right? Number 22 overall. He's going off in the second round. His backup, Will Shipley, and Kenneth Gainwell, who's been there. Shipley is 66 position ranked, 216. You get him in 18th round. Gainwell 77 ranked, 259. He's outside the 20 rounds. Thoughts on either one of these two? Chance, we'll start with you.
I'm just a big Will Shipley guy. I loved him at Clemson. I really don't think that he has any value in a redraft. I'm super pumped to have him in Dynasty. If Barkley were to get hurt, I think Will Shipley would fit really well into Kellen Moore's system. He's a great back catching balls out of the backfield. But I mean, this is one of those backfields it's owned by an RB1. And it doesn't feel like a committee backfield. So in redraft, I don't think there's any value in either of these running backs.
Justin, you agree?
Yeah, I agree. I love Saquon this year. I think he's going to blow up. Like those I think those 5 or 6 backs, man, they're really good. I don't think Saquon's touches are. I think it's going to be like 90-10, like 80-20. He's going to get a lot of them. And he is a very underrated pass catcher.
I agree. His ADP being 22 is kind of end of the second round. He probably could be a little bit higher than that. Shipley and Gainwell, we all agree, don't want anything with that. Feel free to go grab Barkley. He's going to ball out this year. Wide receivers, AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, and I did put Paris Campbell on here. AJ Brown, here's a position ranked of 6th, ADP 8th overall. He is definitely going in the first round. Devontae Smith, 19th position ranked, 26th overall, and he's going in the third round. Paris Campbell, this draft round isn't correct, but he's position ranked 123, ADP is 288, and he's going really more in the 11th round. So that it is not the 5th. These receivers, if you like Hurts, I'm assuming you're liking these receivers, Justin.
Okay, so I just traded for AJ Brown I'm just trying to go back-to-back situation. The wide receiver I like most of this offense is Devonta Smith. He fits so well what Kellen does. I feel like they're gonna move him around a lot, and he's just gonna kill in the slot. He's gonna play that CD role where they're just gonna feed him. Like AJ is your typical more alpha guy. They both got paid, so that's kind of a wash. AJ is looked at as more as the 1, but man, like I love Devonta Smith in the third. Like if he can be your 1, I'm totally good with that.
Really?
AJ Brown And like AJ Brown in the first, there's a couple other there I would like to go running back, but like he's so consistent. It's like almost boring how consistent he is. Like he's always like a 1,400 tie, gets 10 touchdowns. But like Devontae Smith, I just believe in the talent. He is so good. He's so underrated. I just think Kellen's getting like, all right, this is a guy that he's my move guy. He's going to do so much of this offense. I don't think Paris Campbell will be anything. I think Dallas Goedert will be that number 3 guy or Saquon. I just don't think there'll be enough touches for him to even be relevant.
Chance?
Yeah, I know Devonta Smith is a great football player. It's funny. My personal football biases, I just don't like Eagles. I'll probably draft Barkley, but like last year I would have died to have AJ Brown, but I wasn't big on the hype. There might be 1 or 2 leagues where I would take him in the first round because he is going to be really good to start the year. But I just have a bad taste in my mouth for the way the offense finished last year. And I don't know. I'm mostly out on both of these guys. I think they're good. I think they're good football players. I'd be super scared to have Devontae Smith as my wide receiver 1. I couldn't do it. I think there's other guys that I'd rather have in that round that are the true wide receiver 1 on a team.
Yeah, so I'm out on Paris Campbell, but so I'm more in lines with Justin, and I just want to clarify something here a little bit. AJ Brown, Devontae Smith, they're really a round apart. First round for AJ Brown, third round for Devontae Smith. If you go look at their stats last year, they're nearly identical. They didn't, as far as touchdowns and yards. Give me Devontae Smith all day over AJ Brown on this, just strictly that I can get him in the third, and I can still get a Bijan in the first. Right, so that's me or a Hall or somebody else. Just a draft strategy. That's what I'm looking at. I do think this offense is going to be very, very good. I've already said that. I've already stated it. But give me that switch. But I'll probably pass on AJ Brown in the first round. Dallas.
Can we hear who's going around Devonta Smith real quick?
I got it right here. Yeah. I was curious myself. So wide receivers going around Devonta Smith first. You got DK, Stephon Diggs, Cooper Kupp are going ahead of him. Then Devonta Smith, then Amari Cooper, Zay Flowers, and Malik Neighbors.
It would be him or DK out of all those guys. Those are probably the 2 that I'm looking at.
Hands down. Yep. I'll take either one right there.
Maybe Amari, but those 2 have so much more upside. Those 2 have like DK can explode, and Chance has been on that train for a while. But I think Devontae Smith can blow up this year.
Whatever. I agree, Justin. I'm not going to jump too much into that for sure. So I do want to talk about Dallas Goedert here. His position ranked 12th, 144 in his ADP. He's going in round 10. On or off the Goedert train, Justin?
Again, like there's so many good tight ends. I think me and Matt were talking about George Kittle before we got on. I was like, man, George Kittle's like the tight end 9, and he always finishes top 5. It's just there's just so many good tight ends, and I think Dallas Goedert's one of them. He had 83 targets last year, which is a pretty good number for tight ends, but he did miss 3 games, so probably bump that up maybe 10 to 15 targets. You're almost at 100. Like that's ideally what you're kind of what you're seeking out for tight ends. Again, he is the clear maybe 3 or 4 option receiving wise. I don't know what Saquon's going to get out of the backfield. I think there are some better bargains tight end wise that I would probably shoot for before him. Like again, like you guys saw my Kincaid episode. Like I'm taking Kincaid pretty early because that's the guy that I want. But I think he's a good value if you're trying to go running back, wide receivers all the way down to you get your late quarterback, your late tight end.
Chance?
Yeah, I just wanted to look at, with him being at 10, Dallas Goedert. He's around David Njoku, Brock Bowers, Dalton Schultz, Pat Freiermuth, Cole Kmet. And I don't know. He's probably my favorite of all of those guys, but it still feels like a whole mouthful of vomit as far as tight ends goes. Oh,
yeah, I get that.
Give me guys ahead of that or give me shots below it. It's kind of like the tight end dead zone for me.
I get that.
I think a good rule of thumb here. So Goedert is 29. Yeah, he just turned 29 the first of the year. He's going to be a part of the offense for sure. if for some reason you just miss out, right? You know, you're going through and somebody's just drafting tight end ahead of you, and you're one of those, you know, best available players, and you keep missing, and Goddard keeps falling a little bit. He's worth it in the 10th round. He may be your tight end one. You get him for nearly nothing, but you've stocked up on receivers and running backs, kind of what Justin alluded to. I think it's completely fine. And maybe you get Goddard, and then you turn around and get a Schultz or a Komet or a Musgrave, right? Some of those guys that as your second tight end. So
you might have talked me into him, Matt. He might be the top of the trash heap for the tight end trash heap in his next group. It's because of you.
It's just a backup plan, right? That's what I'm saying. Don't I'm going to hold out and get Goddard, you know, here. It's like, no, that's not what I'm saying. Just
don't do that.
Just
don't do that.
Be flexible. So moving on, the Dallas Cowboys.
America's team, baby.
Very, very interesting here. Lots kind of to talk about. Justin, what do you got for Dallas?
Man, this offense was so good. Okay. Cowboys. 5th in total offense, 3rd in passing, 14th in rushing, and 1st in scoring offense. So good, but they got the brakes beat off of them by the Packers, which was nuts. Again, offense kind of like Denver's Sean Payton-esque. They like to stretch the field horizontally. With looks more under center, relying on play action with Dak. It'll be interesting to see how Dallas is without a legit threat, whatever you want to call Tony Pollard last year, in the backfield. Another question is O-line. They didn't address it. I think me and Matt probably were getting so mad at the Cowboys all offseason. Like, what are we doing? What are they doing during the draft? What are they doing free agency? So they're replacing two starters, and the other 2 spots they have, their 2 guards are all Pro Bowl, whatever you want to call them. Tyler Smith and Zach Martin are studs. But it's the other 3 spots that are kind of scary. No true number 3. Kind of be interesting to see what Cooks will be. They were 59% pass and then 41% run.
Now, before we jump into this lineup here, I do want to talk about 1 year ago today, as we were sitting here talking, we were talking about Mike McCarthy and how they let Kellen Moore go, and they are going to run the ball. They are going to be a running team left and right, and Pollard's going to be the guy. And Mike McCarthy said, no, I'm going to take what Kellen Moore did and add to it, and we're going to throw the heck out of the ball and make CeeDee Lamb the number 1 in all of fantasy football. So it's just funny how these things play out. But Dak Prescott, who is positioned, obviously their quarterback, in a contract year, trying to figure that whole thing out. Position ranked number 9, 60 overall in his ADP. You can get him in the 5th round. Either one of you interested in Dak Prescott? Chance, let's start with you.
Listen, this is crazy. Dak Prescott is the highest quarterback I would draft. I think if Dak Prescott would, yes.
Wow. Holy.
I normally wouldn't pull the trigger on quarterbacks this high, but Dak Prescott is my exception. I would pull the trigger on Dak Prescott in the 5th round. I just think he's going to score so many points. I think he's going to be a stud. He's the highest guy I would draft.
Is that because of the contract? He's trying to get a contract?
Oh yeah,
for either Dallas or another team.
I think it's one, contract related. 2, I just have watched Dak Prescott through his career, and I think he's just a baller. The dude just wants to go out and ball, and he has one of the best wide receivers in the league. I don't trust their run game, right? Like, I do think Zeke could be like a sneaky RB1, but I'm not like, whoa, man, what a great run team. So if that's what I believe about this team, I got to believe Dak Prescott's going to toss it. I would draft him in the 5th. He would be my highest onesie position I would draft. Yeah, surprise, Lineberry.
I know, right?
I am shocked. Okay, so Dak Prescott, he is the reason. Him and Seed are the reason I won a championship last year. The last 5 games, they were just both scoring 20, 25 points a game. It was freaking nuts. And I tried to get off Dak so much last year, and nobody wants him. Nobody wants him right now. Again, I don't know if he can replicate that. It's hard to. He was really good last year, and I get what Chance is saying. I probably wouldn't draft. He's not the quarterback I would draft the highest. Like, I'm a big Josh Allen guy, so like that's probably the guy I take first. But I get it. Again, I probably won't take him. I hope Dak goes somewhere else because I think people crap on him a lot because he plays for the Dallas Cowboys. That he's such an underrated guy that he should have won MVP last year.
Bring him to the Broncos, baby. Broncos next year.
I would love him to go to like the Giants or like the Dolphins. Dude, the Broncos got their quarterback of the future, man.
You're right.
They got Bo Nix.
Nix is next. Nix is next.
He deserves to get paid as a top 5 quarterback because he plays so well and gets like he's held that team together when there's been just so many distractions and like as a player I love him, but like I went drafted him in the 5th round.
Yeah, I see what you're saying, Chance. He's the highest quarterback you would take because you're drafting other players up to that point, right?
Yeah,
you're not taking him over other quarterbacks.
No, I'm not saying I take him over, but in the 5th round where he's at, like I can get my RB1, RB2, wide receiver 1, wide receiver 2, and then if I'm really feeling froggy in the 5th round, that's where I would take him. And I just want to see real quick since I said that, since I put my foot in my mouth. Ooh, I don't know, that's close. Yeah, he's right there. He's below Joe Burrow and Jordan Love. And he's right above Kyler Murray and Brock Purdy.
Woo, I love me some Kyler this year.
I know. I said that. I thought Kyler Murray was a little higher. But yeah, I don't know. Dak, Kyler, both right there for me. Both right there.
Yeah.
So we shall see. I mean, this isn't his best. He's thrown for more yards in the past. He's thrown for more touchdown, but it's near his pinnacle. The following years, he's definitely had a drop, and he had less TDs and more interceptions. So that is pretty tough to double down on for 2 years in a row. I think we're going to see a regression from Prescott a little bit. I'm probably staying away from him, although I like CeeDee Lamb, which we'll get to in a minute. Moving on, Ezekiel Elliott, who's ranked 39 in his position, 126 in ADP 11. You get him in the 11th round, and Dowdle is the 43rd position ranked, 140. You get him in the 12th round. Do either one of you want anything to do with this run game that they could have had Derrick Henry if they just picked up the phone? But whatever. We digress. We can't even mess with that. But Justin, let's start with you.
I'm going to do the Cardinals thing. Like, I love Zeke in the 11th round. I love it because they got to hand the ball off to somebody. They have to. They have to run the ball. Even if you get him in the 11th round, he's like your running back 5, 4. Like, holy crap. Like, he is such a bargain. I don't know if they're going to trade anybody because it feels like, I don't know, I just heard a rumor where Jerry Jones is like trying to offset assets and like he's going to sell the Cowboys, so he's not going to pay any of these players. And like he doesn't care about competing. He just wants to sell the team. But it's like they could have Jonathan Brooks. They could have Trey Benson. They passed on him 3 times. So like they signed Zeke. He's going to get touches. If he gets 200 touches in the 11th round, I'll take that every day.
Chance.
So I got a question for you because I would echo everything Lineberry says, but just for kicks and giggles, let's play the ADP game. To me, there are 3 starting running backs, 3 RB1s to start the season, all getting drafted in the same area, 120, 122, and
What's my guy too?
119, 120, 122. It's Zeke, Jerome Ford, and Gus Edwards. Who are you taking out of those 3 in that round?
Ford.
Which is the 11th? Your
Ford's my guy.
Ford's
my guy.
Yeah.
Ford.
Yeah, but that's such good value. That's such good value in that round. Nobody understands.
I couldn't agree more.
You get 2 out of 3 in those rounds. Holy crap.
Yeah.
So just as a note, so in 1 week, Zeke turns 29. The last time he had, so let me back up. Exclude New England, right? The last year that was bogus. That didn't make any sense. So in 2022, 15. He played 15 games, had 231 carries for 876 yards. He had 12 TDs, 3.8 yards a carry. He didn't have that few of carries ever. Ever. So I don't know. He may be getting it, but at 29, I don't know. I just don't know. I guess maybe.
Matt,
I just don't know.
You are forgetting one thing here. How many catches did he have last year?
He had
He had 51 catches.
51 catches. Yeah.
So like, oh man, I think he's too good to pass up, man. He looks so much better than the receiving game. Like again, like the Patriots was rough to watch, but man, he got a ton of targets and he got a ton of. I don't know if it was the offense or not, but jeez, it's such hidden value. Like,
yeah,
it looks like crap, but like if he is a backup to one of your backups, he is such a good value.
Yeah. Until Dowdle takes it over for some reason, because I don't know. Dowdle just turned 26, so who knows? I guess at 11-12, you could probably take him. This is going to be buyer beware if you so choose to take him.
For sure.
It's for you. I'm probably passing. I think Chance is passing. Justin's all over it. So
heck yeah.
This receiving crew, though, this core was nuts last year. CeeDee Lamb is position ranked number 1. He's going 2nd overall in his ADP, obviously first round. Cooks is 56, 111 in ADP, 10th overall, and Tolbert 86, 205, and 18th. Outside of Lamb, do you guys want either one of these players? And let me start with this. Is Lamb going too high for you? Justin?
Yeah, I'm a CD owner as well, and I've tried to get off him this year for Justin Jefferson, and he just didn't like it. Man, CD was nuts last year, like especially like the last 8 games, he was just going off. But like he's gonna get paid. The Dak situation scares me a little bit. That's a dynasty thing only. I don't think it's so hard to replicate wide receiver 1 seasons as an overall one. It's so hard in fantasy football to do that. I don't think there's a puncher's chance he finishes with this ADP, and a lot of you guys won't have a chance to draft him. So like, there's only a lot of you won't have a chance. Like if he slides to out of the top 5, I'd probably take him, but there's a lot of running backs I would take over him, and there's probably Reek I would take over him, Jamar Chase I would take over him as well. So there's probably 5 guys I would definitely take over him before I even think about taking him.
Chance?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm thinking to myself, I have the 1st or the 2nd overall pick in a redraft, like I'm probably going to target McCaffrey. But if McCaffrey goes 1 and I'm at 2, I'm not opposed to taking CeeDee there. I would agree with Lineberry that it is hard to say he's going to 100% locked and loaded be wide receiver 1 this season. So for me, he doesn't return value in that position as assuredly as I'd like. So, I mean, I don't think he's a bad pickup because he's just good. He's just good. I'll take the bet on good players.
I'm with you. I'll go ahead and take him at 2. He's going to be the only guy there. So I think he can at least equal that ADP and move on from there. So the other 2 I'm not really interested in. Cooks did have a decent season, maybe a super late round flyer, but really not interested. Moving to tight end, Ferguson had a really good season last year for tight ends. Either one of you interested in Fergie at position rank 9, ADP 83, and you get him in the 7th round? Chance, start with you.
I don't know. I think Ferguson's good. I think because of my love for Dak Prescott, this would be one of those stacks that if I were to go with a onesie position as high as Dak Prescott in the 5th, I would take Jake Ferguson in the 7th because it's another really important onesie position and I can stack it. So I like the opportunity to stack that because, again, if I think about roster construction, I can go RB, wide receiver, or some combo of those 4. Realistically, Dak in the 5th, and then I can go back and get the next highest RB, or if I don't like them, the next highest wide receiver for my flex position, and then take Jake in the 7th. I'm okay with that.
Justin?
Yeah, I'll just agree with Chance. I think he's a great value. He got 102 targets last year, which is kind of what you're looking for tight end. So I'll take that. It seems like him and Dak build up a good repertoire, and they're the same offense. So.
Yeah, Fergie finished 9th overall last year as tight end. I think he could finish just at top 5 to 9. So I think you're getting extremely good value there. But Gentlemen, that is can't forget about the Giants. Can't forget about the New York Giants. I almost forgot about them.
Knocks, baby.
Whew, I know, right? Justin, tell us what about the Giants. What do we got?
All right, the Giants. I hope a lot of you guys are watching the Hard Knocks. It's such a cool thing because I'm a big draft guy. So like watching their whole draft process has been super fun. Like one of my favorite things to do on Tuesday night is watch that. So they're 29th total offense, 31st in passing, 16th in rushing, 30th in scoring offense. So as you can tell by those numbers, like it was kind of rough. So they do have a lot of Andy Reid concepts because Mike Kafka, if you guys remember him, Northwestern quarterback back in the day, he is their OC, but Brian Daboll kind of runs the show. So it's not too much of a mix. It is Brian Daboll stuff. Like Brian Daboll is responsible for Josh Allen a little bit, but I don't know. Josh Allen just might be the freak, and maybe Brian Daboll's not that great, but we'll see. It'll be interesting to see how defenses will play without Saquon now. They don't have to stack the box. Like they just don't have a superstar on this team unless Malik Neighbor turns into something. The Giants have a bottom 5 O-line according to PFF coming into the season. They had a ton of injuries. Their top 10 selection 2 years ago just hasn't worked out. They brought in 2 guards, not too high profile guys, but I don't know. We'll see what Daniel Jones is. I feel like this is his make or break year, but they were 49% run, 51% pass. So it'll be kind of interesting. I do expect those numbers to go up with the subtraction of Saquon.
Yeah, you brought up Daniel Jones, who is just their quarterback right now. I don't know if he's going to be the quarterback of the future, but he's right now position ranked 27. ADP's 171. You can get him in the 15th round. Are either one of you interested in Daniel Jones this year? Justin, we'll start with you.
So, again, to go off Hard Knocks, it seems like the Giants were okay or pursuing Drake May pretty hard during the draft process. So it seems like they're okay with giving up on Daniel Jones. I don't think they're trying to get that across. They said, like, Daniel Jones is our guy. I am staying away from Daniel Jones. This offensive line scares the crap out of me. I just don't know anybody off this offense that's going to be relevant because strictly their O-line is terrible.
Chance?
Yeah, nope. I wish Daniel Jones gave me the opportunity to give good feedback on him, but he doesn't. Hey, to me, there are so many other dart throws at quarterback that I would take to have on my bench. If anything, he's a guy I might pick up if he heats up, off of waivers. But other than that, I'm not touching Daniel Jones.
I think we all three agree on staying away from Daniel Jones. So we'll move on. Singletary and the rookie Tracy Jr. Singletary, 33 position rank, 109.
Respect on
Tyrone, yeah, that's fair enough. Singletary is 33 position ranked, 109 in ADP. You can get him in the 10th round. Tyrone Tracy, the rookie, 59 ranked, 186, 16th round. Are either one of you interested in this running game? Chance.
So if you want, if you're crazy like Lineberry and you want to just spend all day watching YouTube highlights, go watch Tyrone Tracy's Purdue highlights. They are awesome. That dude, he was a converted wide receiver, a total baller. Okay. Now that I got that out of the way, I understand that in redraft, he's not he's not the wide receiver. He's not the running back 1. He might not even be the running back 2 because they still have Evan Hull that they drafted last year. And Evan Hull went and signed Devin Singletary immediately after free agency. And like as soon as it started, they signed him. And Devin Singletary's been a good back. Like he had a higher success rate according to PFF. Last year, he was graded higher than Joe Mixon was. And Joe Mixon finished 5th on the season in fantasy rankings. Devin Singletary rated higher as a runner than Joe Mixon. So I think he's going to be good. He's just not a sexy name. He's not a guy that when you draft him, you're like, oh yeah, Devin Singletary, baby. But he's an RB1 and he's in the 10th round. And I'd rather have him than Zeke in the next round. I think there's going to be value with Devin Singletary. In Dynasty, go and get Tyrone Tracy and just sit on him. That's where I'm at. I think he's good. But,
yeah.
Justin?
So I agree with Chance on the Tyrone Tracy. Okay, I'm going to give you the flip side of the Devin Singletary thing. Okay, Devin Singletary had C.J. Stroud in the backfield. C.J. Stroud and Daniel Jones are a little different. Devin Singletary also had Nico and Tank Dell at wide receiver. So their defense is probably playing them a little different. I'm just going to go on a limb to say the Texans O-line is better than the New York Giants O-line, substantially better. So I'd rather have Gus, I'd rather have Zeke, and I'd rather have Jerome Ford over any of these guys in redraft. But Tyrone Tracy, love him in Dynasty.
Yeah, I'm going to add just a little bit to Singletary. I agree on the Tracy take. Singletary played for the Bills and the Texans. Both teams, solid teams. This will be the year that he does not do anything. I'm just going to say it. The poor guy is walking into a wall, and it's going to be rough. It'll be a rough season for Singletary. He'll get his from time to time, but I'm staying clear. Even in the 10th round, there's other players that I want to grab. So, moving on to wide receivers, Neighbors, Hyatt, and Slayton. Neighbors, the rookie, position 20, ADP 27th. People are taking him in the 3rd round. Hyatt, 91, 219 on his ADP. Going in the 19th round, and Slayton is 88, 203, and 17th round. If we don't like Daniel Jones, do we like any of these wide receivers with the New York Giants? Justin, or no, Chance, let me start with you. You interested in any of these guys?
I mean, I like Malik Neighbors. I think that he is a baller. I think that he's going to be a really good wide receiver in the NFL. His ADP is just way too high for me. It's just, and I think the closer we get to the season, his ADP is only going to go up. Like, he's going to get a bunch of hype from camp, and it's just going to me, explode. And I just don't think he's going to live up to that ADP. Where is that? If he were to fall into the 4th, if I could get him as my wide receiver 2, I would not be mad about that at all. But for me, his draft, like his ADP is his round too high for me. And I think he's going to be great. And I think he's going to have an awesome rookie season. A little too high for me. Jalen Hyatt, I loved him at Tennessee. He was great. Darius Slayton has had his moments. You forgot that Allen Robinson is also on this roster. I
didn't put Bobby Trees on here. No,
he's
still in the league.
I know. I couldn't believe it. But no, that's where I'm at with Neighbors. He's just, I'm afraid of his ADP. I think it's going to get too high for me. It's already too high for me.
Chance, what round would you take him in?
Honestly, if he was even a round later, right? If I could get him as my wide receiver 2, I'd be super happy with that. I would take him as my wide receiver 2 all day, because I think that he's going to be where they funnel this offense through. And especially as they get into the later half of the season, I think Malik Neighbors can be a league winner for teams at the end of this season. I think he's going to come on real hot towards the end of the season. Just my personal thoughts on it, but it's real hard for him to be. I'm not even going to make the playoffs if I draft him as my wide receiver 1. I just don't think he's going to be that guy. So I think a round later, if he were to slip into the 4th, I would consider pulling the trigger then.
Justin?
Can you tell me who's going around Malik Neighbors real quick, and then I'll just kind of I'm staying away from all these guys.
I sure can.
Wholeheartedly, I don't want any of them. Yeah. Like, there's Wendell Robinson. It seems like all these wide receivers are the same.
Oh man,
Darius Slayton is only different.
Cup, Smith are above. Metcalf, Moore, Diggs are below.
Yeah, I mean, we already talked about Devonta and DK. Like, we're taking those 2 guys in that little pod right there. But like, this offense is gonna be bad. I could see a world where the Giants are the worst team in the NFL. They're going to challenge the Patriots. They have a tough go of it. That O-line hinders you so much. I don't think people understand, unless you have Patrick Mahomes, like Joe Shane said. Like, when Daniel Jones is not Patrick Mahomes. Like, this O-line is bad. It is not good. Like, when you spend a top 5 pick on Evan Neal and he is piss poor, like, it hurts your franchise so much.
Yep, I agree. I'm staying clear of of the New York Giants. They have a mid strength of schedule, kind of towards the bottom. I actually think the Patriots will beat them. To be honest, they may end up with a first. They're going to end up with a top 5 pick, in my opinion, this year. As far as Neighbors goes, I do like the kid. He's going to get peppered with targets. Round 3 is too high for me too. Chance, I agree with Chance. And a little bit later, if he does happen to fall, great. But I think he's going to end up going higher in round 3, which he already is. But anyway, tight ends moving forward. Bellinger and Theo Johnson. I'll just start. I want nothing to do with the tight ends. Zero, zilch, nada. 41 and 35. They're both out nearly at the 20th round or outside the 20th round. I don't want anything to do with either one of them. Justin, are we in agreement on this one?
Yeah, total agreement. The only thing you can talk about is dynasty. Bellinger had a really good year his rookie year. Theo Johnson is a height, weight, speed guy for Penn State. Didn't do a lot in college, but he's just huge and he's fast.
Yep.
Yeah. Theo Johnson is a guy that, he's a dynasty target for sure.
Agreed. Well, that is your New York Giants. Moving on, man. That's going to be a wrap for tonight, gentlemen. Great show. Hey, we did
under an hour.
An hour. Isn't this fantastic?
Hey, yo!
We are getting better as we go, for sure. Before moving on, Justin, any final words? Any final thoughts?
No, just the Falcons, man. Kyle Pitts is going to blow up, and Chance hates it. Kyle Pitts is that guy.
Atlanta Falcons. Chance, any rebuttal or any final thoughts?
No rebuttal, because my girlfriend's in the other room, and I can't afford to have her hear me speak down on the Falcons when she's besties with the owner. But I will say, I'm so glad that we made it through that dark period in our lives called outside of football season, because football's back this week. Training camp, players on. We get to talk injuries. We'll get actual news. We get to see players perform. It's go time, baby.
Absolutely. Well, everyone, thanks for hanging with us on this July 14th. Remember, hit that like button, subscribe to us, hit that like or hit the bell so you don't miss any of these things. We'll probably be giving some merch away eventually. So website's being built. Man, we're just here to have fun. We want you to win your league. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Have a great week. Be on the lookout. Justin dropped his tight end number 1. Chance has got something coming out. I'll have something coming out soon. Keep an eye out. Until then, we'll see you guys next time.